can inspire your table topics. So Charles, what number would you like?
3.
Okay. Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin. This created fans, big fans for the band. Their original name was the New Yardbirds. They were worried about their performance and said they would go down like lead balloons. And that led them to change their name to Led Zeppelins. So your topic is Whole Lot of Love.
Whole Lot of Love. I do remember Led Zeppelin. They were my brother's favorite band. In regards to Whole Lot of Love, well, my recollection of not only the band and the song was during when I was living in Japan, Yokosuka Naval Base, and there was a whole lot of love back in those days, just from my experience there, loving the land itself where I was. I was on of course, a naval base, but right next to the naval base was a mountain. And at that mountain, there were a lot of things to do. I loved to go outdoors. There was a trail that went up to, it's kind of weird, but it was a Japanese cemetery. I vividly remembered on a American naval base. And it was from World War II, from what I recollect. And what was lovely about that is that it ventured off to another hidden trail into a cave. You would think that the cave, especially back in the 80s, would be enclosed, like children won't go in there. But I guess in the 80s, I mean, we rarely wore seatbelts back in those days. They didn't close anything. Kids always went in there, and it was an exploration. And when I went in there were a bunch of bunk beds there from World War II. And of course, there were staircases that went up to the part of the mountain where you could actually see the ocean. It was where I built my love of nature and, of course, my love of exploration of the place. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Kurt, which number would you like?
5.
5. Your song is Come As You Are by Nirvana. Kurt Cobain sang Come As You Are basically to tell the audience that even if you are messed up and confused, you are still welcome. Come as you are. Help me welcome Kurt.
If you feel confused, if you don't know what to do, if you feel like you're helpless, you could still come as you are. You don't have to improve yourself, make yourself better. All you have to do is come as you are. That is a notable phrase, come as you are. It reminds me of what the Bible teaches. It teaches that when a person places their faith in Christ, their sins are forgiven. That person can come as they are. They don't have to try to make themselves better before believing in Jesus. They don't have to make improvements to their own life before believing in Jesus. They just have to come as they are, believe in Jesus as they are, just like the song is reminding me. That's a different context of the line that's in the song, but in the song, the phrase come as you are is talking about how you don't need to make improvements to yourself, do something to make you yourself better, all you have to do is come as you are. That is an interesting phrase. It's very notable. It's something that sticks out in people's minds. When people hear come as you are, all they have to do is come right away. They don't have to do anything else before that. Thank you.
Thanks. Dwayne, which number would you like between 1 through 12 except number 3 and 5?
Number 7.
Honey from Winnie the Pooh. His favorite thing was honey.
Hello, Toastmasters and honored guests. Yes, honey. Well, honey is one of my favorite things too. And my honey is just down the hall here. And I met her, golly, well, we just celebrated 55 years. So I like to say that I met her at an airport. And I did. It was a notable event. The airport that I'm talking about, it had a grass landing strip, and the only office it had was an old trailer house pushed up against the Quonset hut that they parked the airplane in. This was out in South Dakota, and she came out to visit her brother, who was the manager. And I used to go flying with my cousin. And that's the first time I met my honey. It was love at first sight. I tell you, we hit it off right away. And we started writing letters, and she went back to Utah, and we wrote letters back and forth. And my golly, we ended up together in California, and here we still are. So back to you, Table Talk Master.
Thanks so much. I think there's a lost art in letter writing. Many couples during my mom and my dad, they were set up and he was in the service, had the lost art of letter writing because he was in the service. Asha, what number would you like between 1 through 12 except 3, 5, or 7? I'm not sure if I could. Asha,
11.
which one? 11?
Yes.
Red, red wine is yours. I think that's Neil Diamond. Not sure. Red, red wine.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics. That may be Neil Diamond. I don't know. I don't care, because the best red, red wine song was UB40. You remember? I'm not going to sing it because I really will embarrass myself, but I think you'll be able to remember it if you think back on it. I was in 9th grade. I was 15 years old when that song was really popular. And it was one of my favorite songs, and it kind of marks that time in my life. That song, and there was another song by Talking Heads, And She Was. Those were like the songs of that year for me when I was 15 years old. I remember them very well because specifically for that year of my life, I left home. I left Texarkana, Texas, and went to a private school for 1 year because really that's about all we could have afforded. And I went to a school in Mercersburg, Pennsylvania. So I met all new friends and listened to all new music. And UB40's Red Red Wine and Talking Heads And She Was were the standout.